Hello, and welcome to Politically Challenged. This is Ron, I'm Hugh, you know the drill.
Do they? I know last time when we did a video I said this is it. Actually, yeah, let's make it it. So, I have no idea when this is going to be uploaded. The other video hasn't been uploaded yet, at time of recording.
We're working on some technical difficulties.
Ron
has worked very hard to edit the video.
I'm not an expert. It's not going to be perfect. Neither is this.
The uploading was slow because of his Wi-Fi problems. So while I was, trying to do research and other things, but because I don't have much resources at the moment, I wasn't able to do the editing myself. Normally, we would have gone to the old university and edited and produced, but since our login details no longer work, can't do that anymore, if I'm honest. So he had to take the helms of editing for once, and he did a good job. The only issue was it took a long time to upload it and convert everything from one place to another because of the Wi-Fi issue.
Yeah, I was uploading it, to anyone that knows, 80 kilobytes per second. 80 kilobytes.
To me that's Spanglish. Anyway, back to the actual production of the video. So today we're going to talk about...
There is no line.
Yes.
And also, because we're...
But what exactly does that mean for them? So
that there is no line. That's going to go away, right? Oh yeah, it's gone. Sorry, he got a notification. We're recording on a phone because we're that hip. Yeah, so...
So there's no line. Essentially, this means we're going to talk about
ethics.
A fine line between
ethics.
Something that's funny or something that's not funny. Something that's meant to prove a point or something that is actually a crime everywhere. Something that might be merely a misunderstanding as opposed to something that was just a blatant lie. We'll give some examples.
Yeah, that's not... So, I don't want to hop on.
Also, we'll talk about YouTube's interesting wormhole that everybody seemed to have figured out, except us, until he found this video of a prominent up-and-coming YouTuber.
Who's given up?
Who gave up on YouTube because...
he's leaving YouTube because of it.
He's leaving YouTube because of this wormhole that he found and the fact that he was very frustrated that YouTube hadn't done enough to tackle this issue. You can tell we're recording at Ron's house, so it's just people talking.
I'm trying to avoid saying comedy gold while they're actually speaking, so I can edit this all out. Okay, so depending on when that other video gets uploaded, there'll certain. Let's talk about when it
just do a DeFranco. Just jump right into it.
Yeah, when regarding lines, there's certain things in that video that what I didn't I don't know how to cut out, how certain things were perceived, but based on the wormhole issue that he just talked over, I wanted to talk about them. We refer in the video before we did a audio video in between. The chronologically might not line up on YouTube, but we did the video, we did the guest audio following week, and this is this week. So what are the date? It's the 21st of February now. So yeah, just think it up. So basically.
Anyway,
yeah. So basically, in that video, I asked Hugh to mention a hypothetical famous person they would be involved with, and I said age appropriate. And when I said age appropriate, I meant to be 5 years older or younger. That's what I meant because
what?
Yeah, because I didn't want that to be construed. I was based on the wormhole I went through. I didn't want to make that make the impression, give the impression that you were like that. It's because that I'm weird in a case of I got weirded out when my dad told me that his parents had a 7-year age gap, and I just think that's too big an age gap. And when I said age appropriate, I mean someone around our age, somewhere in the 20s.
Oh god, I'm tired. Okay. So, the situation with, what was his name, Matt?
Matt something, but in the description.
In the description box. His name will be there, his channel, the link to the video. Basically, what he did was he was watching videos on bikini hauls, as you do. Then he clicked on a few more videos and inadvertently found videos of young girls. We're talking primary school, we're talking elementary school, we're talking 5, 6, 7-year-old girls.
Under 10.
Like eating lollipops, stretching.
Oh, okay, Hugh, we don't need to go into that much detail.
Etc. And then
etc.
people who
comment on these videos
are
clearly...
Yeah.
Oh, he notices mainly European and so on. You can see that he was really worked up about this. I mean, like, I saw it, like, it was a poster.
It's a mixture of sadness and hay fever.
Yeah, hay fever. Yeah. So, like, I saw it on one of my group. I was on my groups and I found it, and I was like, I'm so grateful that I clicked and it went to a different URL and not into my YouTube thing. That would have, like, polluted my history if I watched it. And in the description, I'm going to, because, like, over the weekend, or last weekend, which is when it happened, a guy called Billiam and several other YouTube channels were, like, inexplicably, like, their channels were, like, banned, and, like, this Billiam guy, he does stuff, game stuff, like, I'm going to put a link to that video in the description, and I'm not going to put Matt's video because he mentions it in his video. He mentions that video, so, like, I'm going to put Billiam's video in because it's more likes of it, and if you watch the Billiam's video about it, and then you'll be like, if you want to jump into that video and it's bloody depressing, I wouldn't recommend it. I've seen it twice. I had to show him.
Essentially, this video that he showed me was this Matt bloke talking about how he inadvertently found this wormhole, that he calls it, where there'll be dozens of videos of little girls just doing innocent things, but that they do innocent things, and then people will comment on these videos with timestamps. And you know how most people, when they create timestamps, it's usually on comedy videos,
something cool,
music videos, something that they like about the video, something their favorite part is, like, and then there'll be like a little extra after the timestamp, like, you're welcome. But with these guys, no, it's insidious, no, it's dirty, it's filthy, it's pathetic. When they create timestamps, it's like 20 little timestamps, and each timestamp, you click on it, and it's something innocent that the girl's doing, like eating something, or stretching, or making a gesture, and then it when it's frozen, because it's a timestamp, there's something sexually implicit there, because it's frozen, it's a frozen image. So these pedophiles get off on the inadvertent implication of what the little girls are doing. So if a girl is stretching or eating something,
can we just talk around it rather than mentioning the actual
word? If you want to talk about it, then we need to talk about it.
I don't want to say the actual word.
Like, what do you want me to do? You showed me this video. This man being outraged that YouTube isn't doing enough.
He's giving up YouTube. He's leaving YouTube. He said he might.
And there's a campaign behind all of the people that have found out about this wormhole, and
it's Wake Up YouTube.
YouTube
Wake Up, or
along those lines.
Yeah, hashtag YouTube Wake Up. Yeah.
So basically telling YouTube to wake up and do more about this issue. Because basically what's happening is that YouTube is inadvertently facilitating child pedophilia and the enjoyment of it and the exploitation of kids. Very young kids.
Yeah.
And what makes it a little bit worse is that these normal videos of kids doing normal things, these pedos are using them to, I don't even know what, let's not even go there, and they comment on these videos and they share contacts with each other so that they can send each other different videos.
Two more explicit videos.
Yep. And to share different things with each other, so that it's a network of pedos. What can I say?
Yeah. So basically, I saw this a few days ago, and then because I wanted to make this video, There Is No Line, about something else, and then I saw that video. I was like, the timing couldn't be. It was the weirdest timing, but I've had a few days to adjust, and I thought, like.
Oh, sorry. Let me quickly. What I was trying to say it before was, what made it a little bit worse was that these videos, these normal videos, they're being monetized. They're being monetized. There are adverts placed right in the videos, like for very, very well-known companies like Walt Disney, for instance. They put video, they because of YouTube's algorithms, adverts are just placed in these videos because kids are in them, and then these pedophiles who are making money from these monetized videos, because what they do is they basically take little kids' videos, they download them and then re-upload them onto their own YouTube channels, so that other people can comment on them and put all the timestamps and share each other's contacts so that they can, you know, share with each other more explicit videos.
I might cut some of that. I don't want to listen to this again and again. Oh god. So basically,
runny nose, sorry.
Give me a minute. So basically, I've had a few days to digest it, and I was like, this is online, and I was like, this is a weird thing to request of our very small following, but I realized the problem is that people think this is disgusting, but it's happened online. Obviously, to everyone that knows about, like, the internet, there's a lot of bad stuff on it. But you do realize that this thing happens in real life, and then it gets online second. It's in real life, online second. If there's any way that we could tackle the problem in real life, the online, while the internet is forever, like, the supply can be cut. And something...
There must be some charities that we can find out about and put in the description.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about charities. I'm talking about...
Well, not charities. I mean, like, organizations that tackle this sort of thing. Like,
even
Ashton Kutcher's got, like, a whole freaking organization
that
he runs.
That's not enough. What I'm asking for is a full-blown movement. Here's the thing. We're talking about pedophilia here, but, like, there's harassment, there's the Me Too, and there's racism, and there's so much happening. Like, a black person gets shot in America, nothing happens. That officer will be like, oh no, we look after our own, it's written off and that career's fine, that guy's dead, but the career's fine. Stuff happens here in, let's say, oh yeah, the Catholic Church always gets accused of pedophilia, and then, when they find out there's a pedophile in their church or whatever, it's it's swept under the carpet. But here's the thing though, every major religion, every major organization, more or less, not every, I'm not going to demonize every single main organization, but this happens everywhere. But the main reason this happens is that people will be like, oh no, I can't say that, it'll jeopardize my career, people might hurt me. People need to, when people see something like this and people know about what's happening, tell the authorities or whatever, and like in the police, and
always
the police
report it. Yeah.
Report it. Like this thing about like stitches, like snitches get stitches or whatever. That mentality has to go. We have to, like, if you see something in your company and anything, you can't stop stuff that you can't see. If you see something, make a big deal about it.
It's important to note that if you see such things happening and you know about it and you know who's doing it and what's happening, if you do nothing about it, not only is it morally wrong, it's also legally wrong as well. You'd be inadvertently facilitating whatever's going on by doing nothing, and you'd almost be covering it up via omission.
Yeah, let's think about,
you would be part of the problem. But most people don't want to be part of the problem. So if you see something like this that's happening, if
you're aware of it, look into it a bit.
Make sure that whoever's responsible is found out. Tell the authorities.
You can be anonymous. I mean, like, some people are connected, and people say, like, there's a network of, like, corruption and whatever. Try to remain anonymous.
There are different hotlines for this thing. Like, the NSPCC is for children, but people can always call up that hotline and talk about what's happening to children as well. So.
It's not just children, I'm talking about everything. I'm going to talk about something else. Like, you probably don't know, but there's a football player, female footballer, Aluko. She was taken out of the England team because of racist allegations, and then the English FA, made a case that it was like, no, she doesn't know anything. But she came back with evidence, and they lost that case. She came back with evidence like
what was happening?
Basically, she played for England, right? She's a footballer, and she wasn't allowed to go to a few tournaments because the manager said some racist stuff about her, and if it was, they backed their man. They were like, no, he wouldn't do that. And then when they went to the case, they're like, she doesn't have any evidence, and then she backed up every point, date, stuff. Like it was like that's the thing. She backed everything up. People like. But the fact is, the FA is in fault. They didn't think like, just look at it from a neutral point of view. Let's be pragmatic, and just like, okay, he has to go. He's clearly in the wrong. They assume, wait, that's my friend. I hired him. No. Even your friend could be someone in the wrong. You can't. Don't dismiss something. I mean, like, there's so many famous people and non-famous people that are just like, that could be like, no, that's not the guy I know, that's not the girl I know. They are like, you don't need to save them for anything. If they really cared about you, they wouldn't put you in a position, they wouldn't be doing that to begin with.
It's probably why some of these Hollywood moguls and icons that have been found out to be rapists and pedophiles,
misogynists, whatever. It doesn't have
and
to,
all of those things.
It doesn't always have to be the extreme. You have to understand, this thing, it builds up.
Yeah, but these different people that have been found out to do all these horrible things, perhaps one of the many reasons why they hadn't been found out about, at least publicly, why they hadn't been properly exposed, was because there were too many people hiding it, too many people covering it up, too many people just shrugging it off, saying, oh, that's just this person, oh, it's just them, it's nothing serious.
And they'd be like, no, we don't want to ruin their career. It doesn't matter if someone else died or whatever. We talk about the Hillsborough scenario where, like, we talked about this ages ago about, like, the thing about morality and financial liability. I forgot the title. I always forget our titles, which is annoying. But, like, we talked about, like, I said, why is the Hillsborough thing happening for, like, 20, 30 years? It's been, like, it was an accident. No one that was involved in Hillsborough wanting him to die, except the fact that they kept on hiding it. So, like, but you sort of, because they were worried about public image and the investors and this and that. Like, people died in that accident, but they were like, no, we can't ruin the careers of anyone who was involved. No names, nothing. We have to suppress it. No one needs to know. It's silly. People died, but they were more concerned about their image, their profit. Why? Grenfell was because, like, the building was made out of substandard material. No one involved in construction wanted anyone to die. But the fact that as soon as they're like, oh no, that's our fault, we can't tell anyone that it's our fault. We have to hide it. Someone knows whose fault it is, but they were like, no, it might come back to me. I can't say anything. It's a like, screw the world, I'm safe mentality. Like, yeah, it's for your. And back to football, it's like another situation. Like, I watched a documentary a few years ago about football racism. There were Asian players, and some of them looked good, and a guy was really good, and he asked the person who was scouting him, was like, oh, so why am I picked? And the guy said, sorry, I was ordered not to pick any Asians. That coach, or that scout could have been like, hang on a minute, that guy's really good, I could send it over. But no, he listened to the person above him, and like, it's everywhere. This is not, I don't want to just talk about pedophilia and whatever. It's everything. People, like, even in, like, a small company, like in a shop, like something like, and one employee can see another employee stealing, like, nah, that's my friend, I don't want to do it. It escalates. Everything escalates. That doesn't make it any less or any more serious than anything else that's happening in a multi-billion-pound company. Everything is relevant. Yeah. Sorry, I dropped the camera, so hence why this has happened.
And relating back to what you said about people, not wanting to say anything about other people being attacked or other people being hurt or other people being preyed on
or harassed, anything, just
because
anything.
they don't want to ruin the reputation of whoever's doing it,
or even their own, because
or their own reputation. I mean, that it leads on to another topic that I wanted to discuss.
Go.
So basically, of course, if you see anything, if you know anything any injustice being carried out, you should report it no matter, what the stakes are. But then again, there are individual differences in all of these situations. I don't know what the stakes are, but you should do your best to make sure that the injustice stops, no matter what it is. But leading to another thing that I wanted to discuss. So when you were talking about people not talking about the injustices because they didn't want their reputations harmed, there was this Empire actor, Jussie Smollett. Some of you may not watch Empire, some of you might. It's very big in America and internationally to an extent. So Jussie Smollett was one of the main characters, played a guy called Jamal Lyon. Apparently, on his way home, he decided to get a subway and was apparently attacked and brutally attacked by 2 Trump supporters. Now, the implication was that these people were racist. No, that wasn't an implication. It was stated outright. The implication was that these guys did not like black people and that they were white. They talked about bleach being poured on him, being choked by a rope, etc., etc., etc. Most of you know the story more than you know about us. You know the story already. And of course, description box, there'll be stories about it, links about it as well. But Jussie went and told the police and the media and everyone who would listen that he was attacked by racist, homophobic individuals who supposedly supported Trump. And that they said things like, "This is MAGA country," calling him F-word, empire, N-word. The implication was that these guys were white and that they supported Trump. And then it turned out that the people arrested over this crime were 2 African Americans. Here's the kicker. If any of you follow me on Facebook, you would have seen my status. Here's the kicker. They were African American, born and raised in Chicago. At least that's what reports say. But because of their heritage, all the media outlets keep calling them Nigerian. They're as Nigerian as I am. So it's like, I'm Nigerian, but I was born and bred in the UK. They're Nigerian, but they were born and bred in America, in Chicago. These are dark-skinned, African-American, Nigerian people. But since they're accused of a crime, they're just called Nigerians. They're not called Americans anymore. It's funny that. It keeps happening when it comes to people that commit crimes. They're no longer American, they're African, or they're Muslim. But when it's white people, for some reason, it changes. Mental illness becomes a scapegoat, or they were a nice kid. They just snapped. Hey, everybody snaps. Color has nothing to do with it. But the media seems to have this weird way of highlighting crimes in different ways and highlighting the perpetrators in different ways. And regardless of color, the media sometimes focuses on the perpetrator a bit too much as opposed to the victims. But that's a completely different story. Back to Jussie Smollett.
Yeah.
No, but go on.
Yeah, some people don't like when the victim is overhyped on TV. Like they be like, give them the person's space to deal with it. So fair enough.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, like some people,
they try to give the perpetrators like too much. They almost give them media glory. Like, this is who they are. This is where they were brought up. Like this is what happened to them, giving them celebrity status.
Like that drone thing, and they got the wrong people. Remember that? What airport? What's that? Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but
they got the wrong people, and they said that these are the guys that ruined our Christmas. Yeah. Anyway, you were saying?
Forgive the runny nose. So basically, Jussie Smollett, the guys that were arrested over their crime turned out to be 2 big, black, dark-skinned African Americans of Nigerian descent. But if you watch the media, just Nigerians. Anyway, these Nigerians were questioned, and they told police that Mr. Smollett paid them to carry out this hoax so that it would seem like he was a victim of a hate crime, a double hate crime because he's gay and black, and that it was supposed to be Trump supporters that hurt him. But these are 2 black men living in Chicago a Democrat city. Like I don't, it didn't. For that reason and many others, the story didn't seem to add up for many people.
The amount of editing I have to do to get your nose out.
Anyway. Yeah, so many people believed that the story didn't add up. It turned out that that's what these Nigerian men said, that they were paid to do it. Some reports say that Jussi did this because he was dissatisfied with his empire salary that he got while producing the show, while being a part of the show. Some people say that it was to help out his friend Kamala Harris get to the White House through this anti-Trump campaign, but those were just conspiracy theorists. There's no real evidence behind that. Some people say that, you know, he did what he did for attention, but if, and I'm saying if, I'm not accusing anybody of anything here, if Mr. Smollett lied, and if this was just a hoax, dear mother effing goodness, is this a bad day? Like, in America right now, it's Black History Month. He picked the worst time.
Didn't Black History Month used to be October?
In the UK, it's in October. In the US, February is Black History Month, but here it's supposed to be LGBT month, I believe. Actually, wait, I'll double check that. That might be June, but never mind.
Wait, LGBT has a month? When's Brown Month? When's South Asian? When's East Asian Month? When's White Month? When's... I mean, like, it's very... Like, I don't like that. So, like, black people are the only ones that accomplish something. I mean, when I was small, like, there used to be, like, posters of Black History Month. There was pictures of, like, chains, stuff like, oh, Black History Month, about, oh, the torture and the anguish of, you know, slaves. Or, like, oh, wait, we remember this, like, how we're not supposed to treat people like that. But now, it's how great black people are, and it's one of those, like, this early social justice warrior mentality of, like, oh, they were prosecuted, they're amazing, like, it's that. That's the impression I get. That's the impression I get.
I understand.
I'm guessing you
that there isn't enough representation and there isn't enough highlighting of Asian culture.
No, and other cultures.
Of other cultures, sure. But Black History Month was not created to discriminate against others.
No. It was to elevate them. It was to elevate them.
Yeah, it was to elevate people who were historically put down. That's the whole point.
But they weren't the only people historically put down.
Of course not. But it depends on the perspective. It depends on, like, you as an individual and you as part of a group. If you, no matter what group you're in, no matter what culture you're from, if you feel like you were historically put down, you're going to fight and market your way into, well, not market, you're going to fight and advocate for time to be reflected on all the good things that the people within your culture have done, so that you don't feel left out. There's no reason why there can't be an Asian month or whatever. Obviously, there are dozens of Asian countries, so...
Dozens? It's more than dozens.
Well, yes, dozens of... I don't want to say hundreds, because there aren't hundreds, but there are definitely dozens and dozens and dozens. But of course, as we always do, we digress. Back to this Mr. Smollett case. I will wrap it up. Just wing it.
We always wing it. So, like, yeah. I didn't offend you, right, about it. It always annoy me, like, the way I always make a big deal.
No, I get it, but, like, what can we do? We'll just have to advocate for it.
I have no problem with Black History Month. It's the case that, I mean, like, there's Father's Day, Mother's Day. There's no Son's Day, Brother's Day. Is there a Brother's Day, Sister's Day?
That might be. There's a day for everything.
Spicy? I guess we're gonna have that chili chat again.
Basically, a lot of people are beginning to believe that Mr. Smollett was not entirely truthful. Some people are going out of their way to call him a liar, saying that he's created this hoax. What's happening now is that he's being charged for, you know, filing a false report.
I thought it was proven it was fake. You have to check.
No, that's the thing. He's been charged for it. So he's being charged for filing a false report, and he's being cut out of the final 2 episodes of the current season of Empire, so that there wouldn't be any more disruption in the filming of the show. And of course, to minimize any negative publicity.
Yeah, because we can't have bad publicity bringing down the show. I mean, like, imagine if, like, here's another thing, like, I gotta get back to that thing, like, is there a possibility that the environment was so toxic that he just had to do that? He was, like, bring the, like, breaking point? Like, we talk about mental health, like, is that a possibility that he was brought to that based on the work environment? That's a possibility. I'm not gonna make...
I mean, there were claims that he was upset with the salary. Maybe he was upset with other things as well.
I mean, like... Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the most demanded shows in television. Like, they record half the season in like one part of the year, and then they take a little break, and then after like a month or so they do the second half
in one go.
Yeah,
that's an intense schedule. Not only this, yeah.
Like, not like they want, I think originally they're going to do it like year by year by year, but then people liked it so much. There's always a fall season and a spring season, and you know, people don't get huge breaks, so
yeah,
it's kind of like Doctor Who, but
I still have to get to that. Yeah, to see what people complain about how it got too SJW-fied.
Anyway,
is that a good term? SJW-fied?
Sure. But anyway, to cut a long story short, which is something I'm very bad at.
You keep saying that. Go.
Mr. Smollett is now being charged for filing a false report. More and more people are believing that he wasn't honest in what he was saying. I'm not saying he was honest. I'm not saying he wasn't honest. I'm going to be neutral and just talk about the story. Unfortunately, no matter what happens now, whether Mr. Smollett was telling the truth, whether he was lying, doesn't matter. People are going to find it harder to come up and come forward and say, I was abused, I was attacked, I'm a victim of a hate crime. And more people are going to feel, they're going to feel unable to come out and say, I support this person, I believe in this person, I believe this person is telling the truth. Let's rally behind this person and stop this violence and stop this madness. Because all of the celebrities, all of the media outlets, all of his colleagues, the ones saying, oh, we'll rally behind you, Mr. Smollett, we'll rally behind you, Jesse. Let's stop these racist homophobes, let's stop them. And it turned out to be 2 Nigerian men who were paid to do it.
With a check.
With a check. Like, a check. I mean, is that verified?
Yeah.
Jesus. With a signature! What did they cash it in a few days after he was attacked? Oh my god.
You get really high when you laugh.
No.
I mean, like, we're at my house, I don't want my parents to think that you're crying. You get that high when you laugh. You done laugh?
Alright. Yeah. So now it's not looking good for him. He's losing work. He might go to jail. They're talking 1 to 3 years in jail.
Is that serious?
Yeah, it's
I thought it'd be a slap on the wrist.
Because obviously not just for a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, so that's what he got.
He may be rich, but he's still black. No, what it is that it's not just the false report. It's faking a hate crime. I mean, it's hard enough for people
with real hate crime.
who have to deal with real hate crime to be taken seriously, and not just hate crime. If we want to broaden this out, people, victims of rape, victims of sexual harassment, or harassment at work, it's hard enough for those people to be taken seriously at all. But this is something that's very serious, especially in these politically sensitive times that we're living in. We live in the UK, it's politically sensitive. They live in America, it's very politically sensitive. You get people shot out there because they're black. I mean, let's say that the brothers were lying and the check was fake. Let's say it was just black on black crime. So it wasn't really racism, but it was still homophobic. Let's say somehow Jesse is not lying. and that these two black men, because there are black Trump supporters, they exist. Like, there are people who voted for Obama twice, white and black, and then they went, you know what? I don't see no difference. Their opinion, not mine. I don't see no difference. I'm gonna vote for Trump. Let's see what he do. Okay. He's not pretending to be a politician. He's a piece of, you know what? But he's honest about it. Except, you know, the tax fraud, the sexual harassment cases, the fake university, etc. But he's honest. He's in your face. Partly because the mainstream media made so much money by complaining about him throughout the whole campaign. And that's half the reason he's in the office. The free media exposure.
Press. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Especially when you know how to monetize it, or at least flip it in your favor.
Spin.
Okay. Spin it in your favor. Spin, flip, you know.
You call it spin.
Spin it, flip it. So.
I might leave it in and put your sock back on.
Yeah, it's on, man. Jesus. Anyway.
I wasn't looking at that. Okay. I might leave that bit in.
What the hell was I saying? How it's hard for people to be taken seriously. It's hard for people to be taken seriously when it comes to reporting these sorts of crimes. And what if Jussie is telling the truth? It's black on black crime, which is ironically more prevalent than white on black crime, but we don't talk about it as much. It is the case that this hate crime against him, because he's gay, openly gay, won't be taken seriously, and thereby hate crimes towards LGBT people who aren't on TV, who aren't loved by millions of people around the world, their cases would be taken less seriously as well. And that could be very damaging. Very damaging. Socially, like, it could be damaging for the families of these people, the friends themselves, the victims themselves, well, the survivors, I should say. It won't help anybody. And if this was some sort of self-hate, black on black situation, it's still a hate crime. I mean, black people are racist towards each other all the time. I mean, these are dark-skinned people. He's light-skinned. Maybe that was a thing. Maybe because he's fairer. Maybe because he's gay and he's got money. They were extras. He's actually part of the show. Maybe there was real beef. I mean, one of them was an extra in the show. I mean, apparently they were both extras. They say the other one was or at least one of them was his personal trainer. I'll get to the point. Basically, would we be able to flip this round? Basically, people believe that he was lying. If he was telling the truth, it's still a hate crime against, you know, him because he's gay. And maybe some sort of self-hate too. And that needs to be taken seriously. If he's lying, if these were just friends of his that were paid via check instead of cash like a normal criminal, if this is a complete lie and a hoax, then that's even worse. It's even worse for people who actually have to deal with this BS in real life. No Empire soap musical drama, real life. The hate, the homophobia, the sexism, the homophobia, I've said it already, the racism, the abuse, Islamophobia, whatever it is. Hate crime is hate crime. Anti-Semitism. All them people in the Labour Party suffering.
I'm not following that. I just found the whole thing silly.
They would have to deal with even more BS because after being a victim or a survivor of the hate crime, they have to deal with the ridicule of not being taken seriously. So I don't really see a situation where anybody wins. Whether just he's telling the truth or telling a lie. So he doesn't win.
So you're the narrative
because he's getting charged for something and every black person involved is getting screwed somehow. But the point I'm trying to make is this. We need to take hate crime more seriously, no matter who it's towards and no matter what the situation is. We need to obviously verify all the details of these crimes to make sure that they're not hoaxes, obviously. But we also need to verify what happened in events so that we know who started it, who caused it, and how to stop it, and how to prevent it from happening again. That's the whole point. You find out what crime's happening, you find it, you stop it, you find out who did it, you try and stop it from happening again. But this process is delayed, it's even stalled if people don't even believe the victims, if they don't even believe the survivors, because they see this high publicity stunts that went wrong, and now people, especially like liberals and Trump supporters, you know, alike, they won't be as quick to believe such things now that Jesse's been found out to be lying. I'm 50. I don't even know whether this is some twisted fate in that he's actually telling the truth, or whether logic wins in the situation and it seems that he's lying. Because a logical thing to see through all the evidence is that he's not telling the truth. So relating it back to finding the line, I mean, obviously there's a fine line between, you know, fact and fiction, especially in high pressure situations. Sometimes bad things happen to people and they don't get all the details correct. I mean, they don't say all the details correctly because, you know, they didn't see everything, or they were too scared, or the fear made them stop thinking, so it didn't retain all the memory. So they just make things up so that they can, you know, so that they can logically try and figure out what happened after the fact. Sometimes that happened because obviously Jesse failed to answer some questions properly, apparently. The point that I'm trying to make is there's a process, and there's no way in how that hate crimes can be tackled with that properly if people just create these false allegations. I mean, there's a confirmation bias here. We can't just automatically believe that something has happened to somebody just because they say so, but until we found the evidence to, you know, punish the perpetrators and help out the victims the best way we can. Everyone is presumed innocent until found guilty, but at the same time, we need to make sure that nobody's being mistreated, that the perpetrators don't get away with the crime, and that the victims or survivors are actually helped as opposed to ridiculed or not listened to. That can only happen if people actually come forward when these things do happen, and when people take a step back and not create lies and hoaxes that ruin it for the rest of the people.
We just now, before we got the charger in?
I finished. Often. I was talking about hate crime, why it needs to be taken seriously, why people shouldn't create hate crime hoaxes, because if they do, it ruins the perspective of validity of actual cases. Go.
Alright, so you kept on talking about where is the line. The title for this video that I kind of decided that my thing is that my idea was, I think that's valid, is that there is no line. To everything bad that happens, there will always be something worse that happens, so there is no line. Would you say that? Would you agree with me? There is no line. There's no moral line, there's no moral standard and stuff.
In terms of, okay, give us...
I mean, like, a case that I wanted to talk about was, I mean, I'll talk about it briefly, and I mean briefly. Like, the player from Cardiff, he died, and then it's very sad. But at the football game, like, so, I mean, there's this player, this man, he died in a plane crash, and at a football match, some fans made a airplane signal, and they got barred, and loads of other supporters, like, basically saying, like, oh no, that's too far, that's too far, that's too far. And while those same fans would be, like, harassing each other if their team loses or whatever, it's like, but they'd be like, no, that's banter, that's fine. But this is like, I know someone's dying, it's tragic, but there's some people have a different mentality, and it's like, you can't say, I mean, some people, like, because their team loses, like, you get badges of tweets and messages and whatever, and notifications about something, like even TV shows, like, people be like, oh my god, this happened, that happened, like, you must be you're a fool, you got that wrong, you got this wrong. Like, people, there is literally no line, and I'm not going, like, my opinion is, like, I don't think it's fair to make fun of the dead, obviously, but the fact is, the same people that would, they say that's too far, they would still bully someone, what I would call it bully, they would call it banter, no, yeah, the word banter, they would call it banter, but the point of the matter is that it's relative. Like, someone could be like children, teenagers, actually people of all ages, like, they get depressed and suicidal because of banter. It's not, and it can be trivial, like, oh my god, oh, your shirt is so stupid. That can cut someone deep. It's like, it's relative. I'm not going to, like, I don't understand the same person would be like, they make fun of someone with the hair, the religion, or what. As you know, religion, that's the thing. People are like, oh, it's okay to make fun of someone's shoes, but their religion, no. Their football team, fair enough, but certain things are seen off the table, on the table. I mean, like, Amazing Spider-Man, spoiler, like, Uncle Ben died. Sorry for anyone that has not seen that or any of those Spider-Man movies. And me and my friend went out to see that movie, and in the movie, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, a bully, basically, who was an enemy in the beginning, like, oh, Peter, don't worry, it's fine, and stuff, helping him get through. I was like, that would not have happened in my school. I mean, like, children can be bloody cruel. Like, if a relative dies, I mean, some students are making fun of you. That's what happens. To everyone that talked about that football player dying and then how it's instead of for people to make fun of it, that happens in schools. That happens everywhere. It's not unheard of. It happens. People always joke about that, and it gets annoying, like, people, that's just children being kids. I mean, like, the Gillette thing, people like, that's boys being boys, and, I mean, while I understand some people think, oh, it's some sort of propaganda, it is to a extent, because they didn't tackle the issue coherently. Yes, it could have been better, to be honest, the way the Gillette, the best of making it. What's the title of that Gillette advert? They called it something. Be better or something. Do you know it, Hugh?
I think it was a play on their motto, be the best a man could. No, Christ. What is that, the army? Look, forget the title. We know what it was. The Gillette advert that was trying to tackle examples of toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
In the wake of this Me Too stuff and everything that's happening.
And also tackled a bit about guys, expecting guys to be, like, not man enough or too man enough or whatever. It's just, they tackle that fairly enough, and the Gillette is the clientele's mainly men. I think they're female products as well, but I wonder, and I think other YouTubers have mentioned, like, imagine, would a female-oriented company put an ad out to get rid of the toxic femininity? What's it? Femininity. Like, would there be no one talks about toxic femininity. I mean, I don't know
Supposedly it doesn't exist.
Of course it exists. There's toxic behavior in men and women. It's just like, are you saying no company that's female-oriented would do that?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that toxic masculinity, at least from our perspective, is talked about a lot more. But with the Gillette advert, is the point you're making that they could have handled it better? Is the point that you're making that it's not toxic to be making fun of people even in the worst of times because that's how people are? Or are you trying to say that it is toxic that people are cruel at the worst of times, but that's not something that you can just, wiggle your finger at and say, oh, you can't do that, it's just a part of life?
Well, ideally I would...
Or at least that you're unable to wiggle your finger at it and just say that it's not nice.
I actually like the video. It's just that some people say they could have the actual video layout, it could have been better. But I get the gist of it, because I saw I liked it, I liked the message. And I was really hoping that people would be like, they get the message about how bad some of the shot
It was
for.
amazing how many men were offended by the video, saying, "Oh, I'll never use Gillette products again," making fun of masculinity. This is what men are supposed to do. I'll never use Gillette again. My father and I have been using Gillette for 50 years, and just because of this one advert, I'll never use it again.
It wasn't an advert, though. It was a campaign video. There was no... People complained about that. There was no razor. Then people would be like, "Oh, you're profiting from a charity." I know, a charitable cause. But here's the thing, like, women can be bad as well, men can be bad as well. And I'm saying, Gillette have placed a marker down for males. This is going to be a marker down for females. I talked about how there's no line, and we talked about the serious stuff of YouTube and the world in general. But, like, Gillette, like, this has come out, so can we say that Gillette, there is nothing bad happening whatsoever in the whole company? Can we assume that?
In the whole company in itself.
Yeah.
I have no idea about Gillette, man.
I mean, like...
I know nothing about.
When I saw that, I thought, like, maybe that's the company's heads going, like, we will not stand for people in our industry and in the world, our clientele, to behave like that. So, like, that's... But the fact that this is... It's very men-centered. That's probably another word for it, but, like... I think it'll be really good if a company that's mainly female-oriented does something also. And it's like, boys will be boys, girls will be girls as well. Girls can be cruel and kind. Guys can be cruel and kind.
That video. Maybe.
What company would do that? I don't know much about female products.
Venus?
The female race? That's a bit on the nose, but... So, wait, the men's razor does it and the female's razor? I mean, like...
Why not? I mean...
Are they owned by this?
I don't know who owns these companies. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same company. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not. Anything else you'd like to talk about? Or should we wrap up? Or?
We always tend to wrap up, like... This videos tend to be heavy. Yeah. Sorry about that. Our last video was somewhat more... Like, I think I commented about editing the last one. It's me. So
it depends on the uploading schedule and how we can upload these, because we're having issues with Wi-Fi, with our phones, with Dropbox, with everything. When he means the last video, do you mean the one where we had a guest, or the one where it was just us?
Oh no, that was just like I got an audio file, put some pictures up on this, and if anyone wants to listen to our first guest, it's fine. And ideally, our next, when we get a guest, it will be on screen. So, whoever he or she will be, we've just had a girl, so I'm hoping next one will be a guy. I'm asking around, let's see what happens. That might be more... Well, it'll be different.
I don't know who it'll be. Maybe I'll look into my contacts, see what we can find.
Yeah, I know some people with some... Well, yeah, we'll try to keep that light. We'll be more focused on them. On this side, I guess... Like I said in the beginning, I want to create like a mini movement. Like when you see something, more or less report it. I mean, I guess that's a risky thing to say. Like, will people get hurt? I mean, like, I'm in a luxurious position where like I'm not aware of anything bad happening around me. And Hugh, I'm guessing you're in a fortunate position where you know no one. You don't personally know anyone who's in the wrong.
Who's in the what?
In the wrong, doing anything.
Nah.
I mean, like,
I'm very cotton wooled out here with the niceness around me. But the point is, he's right. You see anything suspicious, do something about it. Anything where somebody's facing injustice, anybody being abused, attacked, picked on for whatever reason, preyed on.
You won't always be clear.
It's not just the right to report it, it's the obligation, the duty to report it and make sure that somebody does something about it.
It won't always be clear though. They won't just look for the signs and see what's going on. I always feel like what the amount of pods that we did, well, audio files, and I talk about like the sense of community. Like we are a community, globe community, domestic community, whatever.
YouTube community.
Yeah, it's very important that we should keep an eye on each other. And I know it might affect your profit, your income, and what. There are risks to it. But is your reputation, like, you do know that if you come out with this stuff, it will help your reputation long term. I mean, the Weinstein thing, like, one brave girl recorded him and, like, she brought down Weinstein, and that started the Me Too movement, which I'm...
No, but the Me Too movement predated.
Really? That's what the first... I mean, when I first heard
No,
about
the Me Too movement is, like, over a decade old.
Really?
Tanya Burke, or was it? Apologies, it's like...
You can put that in the description.
Somebody, either Tanya Burke or Tamara Burke, created that a decade before. And it only gained traction a few years back.
Yeah. I mean, like, when I first heard the Me Too movement, and you said, what's in my opinion, I said, I support it. And then you corrected me, because I assumed it was about the pay gap, but then it was about harassment. So, like...
Even sexual harassment was only coined in 1979, something that I've said in other videos. I know I'm just repeating the same facts. But well, yeah, facts, the Me Too movement was older than I had thought it was. It's at least 10 years old. And it's important that it's gaining traction now more than ever, because it gives, it should give women some hope that they can live in a world and feel safe. They won't feel as if they'll be judged or picked on or abused or attacked or preyed on just because of who they are.
Speaking of the Me Too movement, you know that famous picture of that World War II soldier kissing...
And not just women, sorry, all people, men, other people as well. But go on.
You know the famous picture of like that guy that kissed the girl at the end of World War II?
Yeah, this statue was spray painted with Me Too.
Yeah, but I've seen a few interviews of her ages ago, like when it was like, I think it was Jan Sawyer on CNN, but she talked about like, she talked the lady involved, and she was like, I didn't know the guy was just like, everyone was just happy, and I think she said she had a fiance and he had someone, so like it was just a spur of the moment thing. I mean, like, people kiss random people all the time, and people are like, no, that's harassment. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but the fact is, they understand the situation at the time. It wasn't consensual, but it's certain things you can understand the context. You are at war, a global war, a world war, some would call it, and it's... I mean, like, and it's kind of weird to, like, where was the criticism before he died? It's like, oh, he's dead now, so I could just create a statue.
Because things have changed, obviously. The political climate has changed. People have... Different beliefs are being highlighted now.
But you said the Me Too
movement... Back in the time, it was like, yes.
Yeah, but the Me Too movement has
the celebration of still being alive. Now it's just, did she say that you could do that? Is that allowed? Is that okay? Things have changed.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You said that the Me Too movement has been around for, let's say, 10 years. It's gone the track, lost a lot of traction in the last 3, maybe 4 years. We could push 4 years. Now, where was the defacing of that statue 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
I think...
Has it happened several times?
I think it's a new statue. Like... The statue was new, and the day afterwards it was spray painted.
Oh. Can you fact check that? Is that true?
90% sure that's true.
Alright. I don't know. To be honest, I saw the picture. I don't know much about the picture. I thought, oh, fair enough. And I assume they were together. They're not together. I mean, like, the man is dead, so... I mean, it's a weird thing to do, but the fact is, it happened ages ago, and we could be like... I can understand their point of view, they'd be like, it's glorifying harassment, but, I don't know, it's... Something can mean several things, to be honest. It glorifies harassment, some can say, and also signifies freedom and, like, relief. Like, you're so relieved you just kiss someone out of the blue. And it's just, I mean, those were two individuals, and... we established before, people are multifaceted, and like, a part of him, like, I wonder what happened, and she could, the fact is they spoke afterwards, and like, did she make any cases against him? I mean, like, the person involved, it's like, I mean, like, it happens. I'm forgetting my point in this, but like, it's weird. The Me Too movement is just strange. Like, I remember, like, I don't know, I met a guy and he said, like, he did a job with one guy, and then, the guy got fired because he got tangled up in that whole Me Too thing. And I was like, when this Me Too thing is, like, it's becoming the new definition of harassment. Oh no, that guy, my friend, he got caught up in that Me Too. It's not like a disease, like, my friend got caught up in that Me Too. Oh wait, my friend got caught up in that Me Too. It's just, it's a weird state of affairs that it's becoming. Like, I talk about, like, people should, like, report things and stuff, like, I mean, over the course of recording, like, maybe that's, am I sending hate towards a lot of innocent people's stores? Is that why nothing happens? Like, I just said I want people to stay vigilant, but not everyone will be vigilant. Some people will be more aggressive, like, oh, that guy's a pedophile, and then what if he turns out not to be? And we talked about what's that guy's name?
Jesse Smollett.
Yeah, so people, like, they jumped on, oh my god, he was abused, oh, no, oh my god, he's a liar. So people are jumping onto it. It's like, when people take a minute.
It'll be hard, I mean,
people are short-sighted.
It'll be harder for some people to...
No, people are short-sighted, so that's what I'm afraid of. Like, if I tell people to, like, stay vigilant, someone would take the initiative, like, that guy's definitely that. They'd be like, suspicion doesn't always mean guilt.
I feel that it'll be the opposite. I feel that it'll be harder for some people to just automatically believe that the perpetrator did wrongdoing or that the victim is the victim because of stuff like this. I mean, this Smollett incident isn't the first time somebody's said, something happened to me, and it like, if he's lying, it wouldn't be the first time that somebody's orchestrated a hoax to make themselves look like the victim, whether it's for attention, for money, or for something else. And then they said they were the victim of a crime and they didn't, and no crime was committed against them. It wouldn't be the first. So some people would think, oh, I'm not going to necessarily believe, I want the evidence to try to reel back any confirmation bias they might have had. And some people who might actually be survivors of a crime, targets of a crime, they may be not so willing to come forward because they'd be afraid of not being believed, being ridiculed, having to face more hate, more abuse, because nobody would listen to them. And that's what I was trying to say earlier. You can't be out here making hoaxes, because otherwise it would just cause detriment to all the people who actually suffer from all these crimes.
You belittle something illegitimate, belittle something that is legitimate.
They won't be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Which will just add to the pain and to the grief and to the guilt. You see people be out here being victims of rape, victims of hate crime, victims of violent attacks, and they'll feel guilty because they were the person that it happened to. And like, subconsciously, they'll, in most cases, they'll feel like they deserved it somehow.
But here's the thing, I'm asking people in general to be upset. The thing with a victim is that you understand they're in a different state of mind. They might not be emotionally healthy to actually report it. That's what I said about sense of community. You look after people around you. That's your friend, that's your family, that's a random person you just happen to meet. It's just hence why I want a sense of community. If we don't look out for each other, then no one else who's gonna look after us.
It's very true.
I mean, like, I talk about, like, I don't want to belittle what happened in, World War II, after World War II, that Gatwick case, but, like, to me, it's just an image, it's just a photo and a statue. I never thought about the story.
I didn't really think about it either, to be honest. When I looked at that, I thought they were lovers or something.
So did I. I feel like, oh.
I didn't look into it at all. I was like, maybe that's his girlfriend. But you're saying that she had somebody else, he had somebody else. And the Me Too people are saying it's harassment. I mean, right.
I don't know.
I take harassment seriously, obviously. If it was harassment, it's a harassment. There were reports saying that the woman did not see her as harassment. You're saying that there were...
Well, she's been interviewed since, so...
You saying you saw interviews, she said there was no harassment.
No, she didn't. She, from the interviews that I barely remember, she said she didn't know him, he didn't know her. It was just, it just happened.
But she didn't say that it was, like, any wrongdoing?
But saying that this was in the late 40s, so, like, views are different. So, like, let's say, if it happened now, let's say we had a world war and, like, 2 years later something, and they'd be like, you kissed a random girl, like, yeah, we won. She would, after kissing, she would slap you. Like, that's what would happen now. But that's what happens right now. They'd be like, oh, a guy just kissed me. Okay. Like, it's like I was talking about social expression, like certain things are was acceptable then that aren't acceptable now. It didn't happen now, it happened then. I'm not going to belittle everything that just happened, but it's shift happens, things happen. I mean, like, there was a point where blackface was fine. Blackface.
It was never fine. It was just accepted.
Yeah, there's a point where slavery was widespread globally, and now it still happens, but it's not widespread globally. It just happens in specific parts of the world, and people wave their finger saying, you shouldn't do that. So, it happens. I mean, yeah, that's... Shift happens. I have nothing else to say to that, just shift happens. I'm trying to create a movement where people look out for each other. Would anyone care? Probably not. Every major organization, every major religion, even every minor organization, something happens, schools.
Well, share the video, obviously. I mean, guys, you're watching this, like, comment, subscribe, share the video to your friends and family members, your colleagues, so that they can see this. They can check out the campaign we out here doing.
It's not really a campaign.
Also,
it's a movement. It's not a campaign.
The movement, sorry.
It's just a change in mentality. Just look out for someone. If something's suspicious, dig a little deeper, and you'll be like, oh, no, it's fine, or hang on a minute, it's a lot worse than I thought it was.
You can
have an open mind.
You can forgive my my resting bee face. This is an important topic. What I'd also like to say is, obviously, with the original video that we mentioned at the beginning, Matt's video, with the YouTube wormhole of
Children.
Child
stuff. Yeah.
It's not porn, but there would be disgusting individuals that would timestamp it and go, oh, look at that, and share context so that they can network and talk about disgusting stuff and share disgusting stuff. That needs to be shared as well. That guy's left YouTube, but it needs to be shared a million times.
He's planning to leave. He might stick around. But that's what's on him. If he wants to leave YouTube because it's too...
It'll still be on YouTube.
But he can leave YouTube.
People should download it, re-upload it, share it so that it doesn't get deleted or whatever, and that YouTube would have to do more about it. Because there are hundreds, millions of YouTubers being demonetized right now, and they produce, great content without trying to harm anybody at all, and they're getting demonetized. And then they make videos. Even some of the biggest YouTubers, the Lily Singhs and the Philip DeFrancos of the world, are getting demonetized because the algorithms are messed up. But there are these videos that have adverts right in the middle of the freaking video for Walt Disney and drinks. And what is this? They're getting monetized.
But we go on to YouTube. We might be on YouTube and we're on other stuff now. But
yeah, you'll be seeing this on YouTube. So.
This is not a YouTube problem. This is a problem everywhere. And it's not just children, it's adults. Victims are victims.
Social media platforms, they need to do better at this. I remember a few years ago, ISIS videos were easy to upload on Twitter. Now they're deleting accounts, but that's because people talked about it.
Yeah, but deleting the accounts...
And then Facebook with the Cambridge Analytica thing as well. Sorry.
Here's the thing. Deleting something online that's virtually. In real life, it's still happening. Take the supply out in real life and the demand will... Actually, we have to deal with both sides, to be honest. Get rid of the pedophiles online and in real life. And actually, get rid of the abusers. General abusers in real life. And you minimize them online and offline. I think people get what I mean.
No, but YouTube can help do that. If they can create algorithms to find out what people are doing. They can create algorithms.
Could they call the police?
They can create algorithms to find out which profiles are doing this. They can if we can see if we can see what Matt saw through Matt's eyes, then the algorithms can pinpoint these people instead of just disabling comments for the videos.
And when they find their addresses and stuff, will these people be tracked down? Will that happen?
I mean, maybe not through the VPN thing, but I mean, if these fools are literally putting their mobile numbers on the freaking comments, then yeah, they can track them down.
I think it's over to whoever's watching. What can you do? Yeah. Another Simpsons reference. What do you do? That's about their poo thing. What do you do? Yeah, about how that was acceptable then, not acceptable now, apparently. I have no problem with a poo. Not relevant, but that, again, shift. But here's the thing, the stuff we're talking about, the stuff I want people to address, it's never going to be okay. There's never going to be a point where, like, finally we can marry children. That's never going to be okay.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean...
Actually, wait,
people marry children now. What do you mean? In some states of America, some parts of Asia, some parts of Africa.
And in European countries, it's only been...
people are out here marrying kids now. Delaware to this day is the only state in America that's gone out and said, nope, you cannot marry kids. According to one report, it could be false.
I think the age of consent in the Vatican is 11. Vatican City.
11? Oh, Lord Almighty.
Yeah, oh Lord Almighty is right.
Like here, the age of consent is like 16.
I thought it was 18.
Other countries, no, it's 16. Other countries, it's higher. Other countries, it's younger.
Yeah, but like obviously,
you got to think about the legal and cultural influences as well.
Well, I think the 1800s England, like even when like people talk about like child marriage, that was still rare, but it still happened. So I'm guessing further back, it happened more and more often, but it's been dying out, and hopefully before 2100, it would be completely globally gone.
That's the hope.
That's me being optimistic. It might still be around then.
And on that note,
just give them something more optimistic. We might have more videos. That's optimistic, right?
Okay. How do we end this on a lighter note?
Okay, so last video, the camera died. We are sorry about that. It just died. I mean, the mic didn't die, but yeah.
The last video.
The only other video we've done where you see my face. So, alright.
Cut this out as well? I don't know.
I'll decide. I have a whole week to edit this. Alright. Thanks for watching. What do you have to say?
By 2100, no pedophilia, no rapists,
no abuse,
no Harvey Weinsteins, no Bill Cosbys, just good, wholesome families with good, wholesome values.
Good, wholesome society. A better society. Yeah, sorry, we don't know how to end this. So, it's goodbye from Hugh.
It's goodbye from Ron. Here's to it. Dreaming and hoping and fighting for a better society.
Stay vigilant. Ta-ra.